For the past few years, phone makers have said that if you want a small phone, you must have small demands. But that just isn't true. Some people have small hands and big ideas. The new eFony Southeast from Apple, $399 for 32 GB, $499 for 128 GB is the small phone that many people have been waiting for. With a careful balance of components that keep it current, while also hitting a mid-range price point. Anyone who has been driven nuts by increasingly large devices and wants to return to simpler, one-handed days will love this phone. It's our editor's choice for smaller smartphones. Physical features and ergonomics. The eFony Southeast has the same body, screen, and storage as the eFony 5S. It has the same modem, Touch ID sensor with NFC for Apple Pay, and front camera as the eFony 6. And it shares a processor and rear camera with the eFony 6S. These components add up to a phone that can run the latest apps without complaining, and fits into a child's hand. From a design perspective, the eFony Southeast uses the eFony 5S body. That means it measures 4.87 by 2.31 by 0.30 inches and weighs 4.0 ounces, and has a brushed metal back with gloss panels at the top and bottom. There's a Touch ID-equipped, fingerprint-sensing physical home button below the display. The phone fits easily into eFony 5 or eFony 5S cases. There are only two visible differences between this and the older phones. There's a small Southeast logo on the back, and the beveled edges are matte rather than shiny. The eFony Southeast also uses the same screen as the eFony 5S, a 4-inch, 1136 by 640 panel that has 326 pixels per inch. Call quality here is similar to the eFony 6. Voices are loud and solid through the earpiece, with support for HD calling, Wi-Fi calling, and voice over LTE Volt-tape. There are two models of the eFony Southeast. The model we tested, A1662, which Apple refers to as SIM-free, is sold for AT&T, T-Mobile, and Verizon. It's also the model sold unlocked. It supports LTE bands. That said, the eFony Southeast is going to outperform both the eFony 5S and the eFony 6, but not the 6S on T-Mobile, because it supports band 12, which has become very important for extended LTE coverage. The eFony Southeast performs consistently better than the eFony 5S, but not as well as the eFony 6S on Wi-Fi networks. While the Southeast and 6S did about as well as each other within 25 feet of a Wi-Fi router, the 6S offered better speeds on the edge of the Wi-Fi cell and in the Wi-Fi noisy area. Small size, big power. The eFony Southeast uses the same Apple A9 processor that the eFony 6S does, running at 1.9 GHz with 2 GB of RAM. Its processor power benchmarks exactly like the 6S, which is, by the way, 75% faster than the eFony 5S. The powerful GPU means that on-screen graphics benchmarks tend to hit VSync, the 60 frame per second limit beyond which screen images generally tend to tear and skip. The Southeast runs iOS 9.3. It's our editor's choice for mobile operating systems, if only because unlike with Android, iOS devices get frequent updates and aren't free of carrier bloatware. Third-party apps, especially games and social networks, style tend to come to iOS first, and the apps are often better looking and better designed. The price of that smoothness, of course, is that iOS has a more rigid layout than Android does, and pushes you into using Apple's services whenever possible. Battery life and camera. The eFony Southeast's battery life is the best I've ever seen on an eFony. That's because of the combination of the energy-efficient modem and processor, the small screen, and the 1642 mAh battery, which is slightly larger than the 560 mAh cell in the eFony 5S. In a real-life test, I got 13 hours of solid use out of the phone, including gaming, taking pictures, surfing the web, and making phone calls before it needed a recharge. The Southeast's main camera is the eFony 6S 12 megapixel camera. 1.2 megapixel front-facing camera is the eFony 6S camera, plus Apple's new selfie flash feature, which dials up the screen brightness to improve image quality in low light. In good light, it's fine. In low light, things can still get grainy enough that it almost looks an impressionist painting.